However, James has already dropped hints about more surprising bombshells in a documentary that's due out soon. According to him, their marriage was like the right love at the wrong time. He also hinted at big discoveries, including a purported secret daughter, adding that his film will reveal a lot of things, so he can end it all at once. To reiterate, he is stating that there is a secret baby. I don't know why James has been so emotional and emphatic about the child's existence for all these years. Furthermore, without some evidence of a biological kid, why would other relatives of the DeBarge family back his accusations? Once again, I suppose, just so you know, in 1984, when I was 18 years old, I eloped with James and got married. It was said that Janet viewed her marriage as a means of evading her control-freak father, Joe, which is why she chose to tie the knot at such a young age. Joe tried everything he could to prevent Janet's marriage, which came as no surprise. In any case, James's substance abuse put Janet in a tough spot as his caretaker. She was always being summoned to either pick him up or go out and find him. Thus, the marriage didn't endure. Janet claims that whenever she found the pills in the house, she would take them and attempt to flush them down the toilet, but instead, they would begin to roll around on the floor, vying for their possession. Keep in mind that she was only 18 years old when all this drama unfolded. The long-running speculation that Janet and James had a secret child during their brief and troubled marriage adds another layer of intrigue to an already messy story. That rumor, indeed, Janet allegedly gave birth and then discreetly gave the baby up, perhaps to be fostered by a relative or even adopted outright, according to admirers and even some insiders who have been spreading whispers of a hidden child for decades. And who do you think added gasoline to the fire? No one else but James DeBarge. Several times during the years, James has made public statements asserting that he and Janet did in fact have a daughter, but that she was concealed from him. Even more shocking was his assertion in one interview that the child had approached him as an adult, leading him to believe she was his. After, he confirmed the allegations were true in an interview from 2025 and hinted that his film will finally put an end to them. James discussed their 1984 marriage and 1985 split in a recent interview, opening up about how he met Janet via Bobby DeBarge, who was seeing LaToya, her sister. According to James, they were introduced over the phone when Janet was 11 or 12 years old, and he was 13 or 14. Although they didn't meet in person for around 5 years later, he continued by saying that they had a strong bond when Janet was going hungry on good occasions. James claims that the couple fell head over heels for each other and eloped shortly thereafter. And when asked what exactly caused the breakup, James just phrased it this way: "It was the perfect couple at the wrong moment. We were both young, and we often found ourselves traveling. Due to time constraints, we were unable to resolve our differences in person." Moreover, James stated that his substance usage was in its early stages and had not yet become a problem. Additionally, he brought up the fact that Joe Jackson, Janet's father, was against the relationship and said that the company she was associated with caused friction between them as examples of outside meddling. Thereafter, James talked about the long-running speculation about a hidden child as well. He didn't say anything to confirm or refute the rumors, but he did imply that it might be revealed later on, saying that he'd rather not talk about it until his next film and documentary come out. Members of his family have also spoken out over the years, claiming to have been informed or sensed the presence of a baby. So he isn't the only one in the DeBarge camp who is stirring the pot. The powerful circle around Janet, however, swiftly buried everything. Christina DeBarge, who is the daughter of James DeBarge, recently admitted that she thinks there is a secret sister somewhere, which only served to heighten the tension. The possibility of meeting the sibling Christina DeBarge believes exists has been voiced publicly. Additionally, she stated her belief in the long-standing story and hinted that Janet's influential family might have had a substantial influence in the purported choice to sell the baby. The possibility that the truth was covered up to save Janet's budding career was even hinted at by her, given the level of authority at question. Surely he feels duped. He must be feeling down. He must be feeling let down. I can almost feel the emotions coursing through him. I know my dad still loves Janet, but he was cheated out of that connection with his daughter. He also wants to spare her any harm. Bunny, James's sister, confirmed seeing Janet's pregnancy, joining Christina in this assertion. Bunny claims that the hump disappeared after Janet was removed from the limelight. However, a baby was never found. A radio interview with James's brother, Daryl DeBarge, was also part of the program. Following in the footsteps of his relatives, he confirmed the existence of the child. James DeBarge's mother was one of those who thought a child was present. Tiffany White, who asserted her identity as the hidden daughter of Janet and James, and she went a step further by taking part in a DNA test. A subsequent DNA analysis, however, disproved James' paternity. James insisted he would keep looking even after this realization that he knew there was a baby. Janet, on the other hand, has always maintained that she is not the mother of any secret child. The rumors were called cruel and inaccurate in her 2022 documentary, in which she tackled them directly. No, it is incorrect. As far as she was concerned, the pregnancy rumors started in 1984 while she was filming the TV show Fame. She went on to say that she had begun taking oral contraceptives, which were known to cause fluid retention and increased hunger at the time since they increased levels of the hormones progestin and estrogen. The fact that she put on weight after beginning to use the birth control pills led many of the children to believe that she was pregnant. Janet said in the documentary how the false news evolved into several risque tales, such as the one about how she granted her sister Rebby custody of the hidden baby girl she never had. In addition, she addressed the speculation that the secret baby was Brandy, the adoptive daughter of her brother Jackie and her mother, who was born in 1982. Also, on how, at one point, people thought that Savannah, Brandy's kid, was her baby because of how similar they looked. Began to realize that was in fact Savannah. Furthermore, Janet mentioned that James DeBarge's addiction was one of the more significant issues she faced throughout their brief marriage. She went so far as to recollect their incredibly unromantic wedding night, recalling how he had responded, "Okay, I'll be right back," upon returning to the hotel after the ceremony. At the age of 18, I sat here alone in my hotel room in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Even after 3 hours, he still hadn't returned. Living like that isn't good for anyone. Even I could see the good in him, and I simply wished to prioritize that over this hideousness. He needed help, and I was aware of it, but I wasn't that help. Although Janet denied it, her fans insisted that she had not given birth because she had mumbled the words. She merely stated that it would be wrong to keep the child from James. Even now, James and his relatives insist that they still think the child existed but was kept concealed from them. Others have noted that Janet's denial has consistently come out as deliberate, methodical, neat, and well-rehearsed. The Jackson family was infamously dictatorial and image-obsessed, and she was only 18 years old when she wed James. Would her managers have hastened to conceal her pregnancy if they had known? Underneath non-disclosure agreements, familial pressure, or even professional pressure may have been a hidden pregnancy? Ruin? Anyway, there was no announcement of a baby, but some individuals who were there and supporters of the DeBarge family and Janet still claimed that they saw pictures of Janet with James and that she appeared at least 5 or 6 months pregnant. Some people also recall an incident at the American Music Awards when Janet and her brothers gave presentations and Janet appeared on stage while pregnant. Even when Tito put his jacket over his arm to hide her tummy from the camera, her belly was still visible. An individual even went so far as to claim that her aunt had a job at the rehabilitation center where Jackson's grandma lived in the 1980s. Also, she noticed that Janet was expecting when she came in, but she has no idea if the baby was hidden or if the mother lost the pregnancy. To be sure, Janet was pregnant, she added. Since James has reiterated that he does, in fact, have a child, many have begun to wonder if this is all he says it is. Therefore, perhaps the issue isn't whether a baby was born. Perhaps the most pertinent inquiry is why Janet has exerted so effort to dispel the idea that there wasn't. I mean, surely she longs for her kid. I have no idea, but maybe the documentary that James has mentioned would be released shortly will provide the answers to these issues. In the meanwhile, please share your thoughts with me in the space provided.